Hello everyone, and welcome to this Awaken Creators video. This video update is going to be for Virgo season 2021. This is, again, I'm experimenting with all kinds of different video content that I feel like my followers would enjoy and subscribers would enjoy. And one of the things that I do on Instagram, if you're not following me at awaken.creators there, is every time that the sun transitions into a new astrological sign or energy archetype, I present some tips on how to best embody that energy as a creative. And so I wanted to bring this into video format because I thought it would be fun and it would give us a chance to start really to have a dialogue more so than just a, here you go, here's the tips, be on your merry way. I thought it would be nice for us to actually talk about it and communicate with it. So the sun is going to move into Virgo, or actually in about 20 minutes from when I'm recording this, a little bit early. But the sun will be in Virgo from August 22nd to September 22nd. And Virgo season is interesting for me. I am partnered with a Virgo. I have family members who are Virgos, and my mom has a Virgo moon. So I've always kind of been surrounded by Virgo energy, and to be quite honest, never really understood it much. My experience with Virgo energy has been a little, I would say, on the more critical, maybe negative vibrational aspects of Virgo energy. Although I've had a mix, I would say that those who shall not be named, right, certain individuals with Virgo energy in their charts that I have relationships with have embodied the highest and most beautiful aspects of Virgo, while others have displayed maybe the not so high vibrational aspects of Virgo. So let's talk about Virgo energy, and I'm gonna pull some cards to deepen our dialogue. I'm gonna use the Chrysalis Tarot, which actually my Virgo partner bought me this deck as a little surprise. And that was really nice. It's a really cool deck. It's really pretty. And so one of the things that comes up for me, and that I talked about on my Instagram post with regards to Virgo energy, is this idea of meticulous analysis. And so whenever we take a look at something very objectively, we have to be honest with ourselves about what it is. For example, if I'm not going to do this, but if I was to turn around this camera and you could see the rest of my studio right now, you would see that it's a little cluttered. There's things that, need to get put back in their proper place. And so Virgo energy can be really helpful for us in our creative process to assess the situation. I wouldn't necessarily identify Virgo energy as like the taking action on it. It's more of, that would maybe even move into Libra, where you're rebalancing things and actually implementing those changes and beautifying and, balancing things. But the Virgo energy is like, you see that over there, right? Those need to get put away. Or you realize that you do this thing every time, you get feedback from someone on your writing. Like, it's going to, I think, if you're in tune with it and if you're paying attention, it's going to show you where there's room for improvement. And so if you have experiences or difficulties dealing with criticism of any kind, even if it's constructive, and I would say the highest vibration of Virgo would be constructive criticism. It would not be criticism of something you just can't change, but it would be something that would say, yeah, you could have done a better job at that, or that really should be somewhere else, or your composition maybe not the most thrilling, but it was a good effort. So there's this idea of being honest with ourselves that I think is really going to come into play. But one thing that I want to teach and that I actively make use of in my understanding of astrology is the application of opposite energies. So this comes very naturally to me because I'm a Libra rising, which, if you're not familiar with astrology, means that all of the traditional house rulerships are flipped to their opposite energies. And I think that it makes for a very interesting life. I get the opportunity to experience each aspect of my experience embodied here as me in its opposite energy. So one way that I think that this manifests itself positively is that I can very objectively see kind of the weaknesses and the strengths of certain energetic archetypes. And so with Virgo, whenever we're looking at any kind of astrological shift, we want to pay some attention to its opposite energy, which in this case would be Pisces. And interestingly enough, my child is a Pisces. So we gave birth to my partner's opposite energy, which I think is really interesting. And their dynamic has been very fun to watch. So the energy of Pisces, what is that? Well, in my experience, for as practical and objective as Virgo can be, a Piscean energy can be impractical and perhaps delusional at its most extreme, and very imaginative at its best, right? The energy is watery and floaty and up in the clouds. It's also a very spiritual energy versus Virgo, which is much more earthbound, practical, and pragmatic. So when we're talking about making use of Virgo energy in our creative practice, in order for us to do that, to take that objective assessment of kind of where we're at creatively, where our skills are, where our studio space is, looking at our body of work up to this point in the year maybe, and being really objective about it, for as great as that is, to avoid shifting down in vibration to criticism, we need to apply the energy of Pisces, which is also very spiritual, very compassionate, very sensitive in that regard of showing mercy and empathy to anything and everything. And so applying those principles while we are in this energetic space of Virgo, of the sun in Virgo, we can really take a more balanced approach to it. So I would definitely say that if you do start assessing your situation and you feel yourself gravitating towards criticism and judgment, remember during Virgo season to apply the opposing energy of Pisces and show yourself compassion. Allow yourself to continue to dream and give yourself the mercy of maybe taking some things off of your plate, to free up some space where you can maybe focus a little bit more on things that you want to focus on, rectifying come Libra season. So, with that said, I think that this is going to be for the next 30 days, or until September 22nd. This is going to be a great opportunity for you to take stock, make some determinations about what's staying, what's going, find opportunities for healing and growth, and cleaning and clearing out spaces. And this is a time of year where summer's winding down and people are starting to go back to school, so it is we sort of have to wipe away the dreamy fun of summer and get more realistic and more practical about what needs to be done as we start wrapping up this year. So I'm gonna pull some cards here and just see if we can get a little bit deeper understanding of Virgo energy, and especially as it applies to our creative process. I really do think that one of the most important things that you will want to remember is to show yourself compassion and to not fall into judgment with this. All right. So one of the first cards that flew out was the World card, which is really interesting. So this is an indication of a kind of a rebirth, a restart of an energetic cycle, and a time of profound healing and restoration. So you might want to look at your creative experience up to this point in this year and determine what you're going to keep going forward and what you're ready to close the books on. So this could be deciding that maybe there's a certain project that you're ready to let rest, that you just don't have the energy to put into it anymore, or the desire even. Maybe there's something new and exciting on the horizon that you're looking forward to calling in, and you need to free up space by taking some of the other projects off of your plate that you don't maybe so much care about. So I think the World here is just giving ourselves permission to take this time to make those assessments, make those judgment calls, and say goodbye to the things that just really aren't satisfying us any longer. And the reason that you're doing that is because we're going to be building something new. We have the Three of Stones here, and the way that I'm seeing this is that there's sort of a new manifestation, a new iteration of yourself in this third dimensional world that you want to call forward. And in order for you to build that new world, we really have to let go of the old. And so this too is an opportunity for you to come together with other individuals. So you might feel like there's an opportunity for you to do some collaborating. And that's one other thing too, that you don't want to make the mistake of thinking you have to do all this on your own. one of the ways that we can demonstrate Piscean energy through granting mercy is lightening our own load. And so that can take the, appearance of dropping things off of our plate that we no longer are interested in pursuing, but it can also mean we call in help because maybe we do want to complete everything. We just don't, as an individual, have all the time, energy, or expertise in order to do it, and therefore we need to call in assistance from those around us. So you could be collaborating with other individuals at this time, and that would certainly be a very pragmatic decision to make in this time of Virgo energy. And then on the other side of this, we have the Death card. So bookending this is the World and Death, which again, I think just reinforces this idea that we are perhaps letting go of some things during this time, letting go of projects that were not bringing us the joy that we were hoping for, or maybe they just truly are done, right? Maybe you are truly just finished with that stage of the process. It doesn't even necessarily mean the whole project is done. This could be, for example, going from the writing, the free drafting process to an editing process, or from the editing process to the querying process. I'm talking to writers here. But there's these transitions of stages in the creative process of writing, or perhaps, in your visual arts, maybe you're going from only creating for self to then now selling at art fairs. Now that the weather's cooling down, maybe you're going to start going to art fairs. So there's some kind of shift and transition during this time. And I want to say that, again, the thread that's going to be your saving grace during this time is that Piscean compassion. I find that aside from, well, I don't know, Taurus will probably not like me for saying this, but like aside from Capricorn, I feel like Virgo Earth energy is very powerful, like maybe the next most powerful, because it's just very honest, and that level of honesty can sometimes be hard to swallow. And so we really do, especially in the creative realm, I think that as creatives, we tend to struggle with the more objective, practical, honest parts of our experience, where it's the critique feedback, it's dealing with the rejection, and it literally tells you because of this, or that you just know that your skills aren't up to par. You see this vision in your head of this painting or film or piece of clothing you want to create. You go to do it and you realize you have to admit to yourself that your skill set is just not there yet. It doesn't mean stop dreaming, Pisces. It doesn't mean stop moving in that direction. It doesn't mean stop being creative and imaginative. It just means that that's what it is. This is the is what it is transit, right? This is it is what it is. And it isn't to make you feel bad. It's just to bring it into your awareness so you know what next step to take to go in the direction you want to go. So again, that thread, that thing that's gonna really save us at this time is that compassionate, merciful Piscean empathy for ourselves. So we're gonna grant ourselves that mercy. We're gonna say, yeah, you know what, you're right. This isn't what I want to do anymore, or this is something I want to pursue, but yeah, my skills just aren't there yet. So what can I do instead? Where can I get assistance moving in that direction? And maybe that's where this Three of Stones is coming up. Maybe you need to ask for help, or again, the expertise of those around you to help you learn it, right? Because these are owls, so it's definitely feels like it's a sharing of wisdom, it's a sharing of knowledge coming together. So you just need to ask for help. You need to ask for help for someone who maybe that's what they do, and make use of that. We can't ask for help if we don't admit that there's a problem. And so that's why, you hear this a lot in like addiction circles, right? That admitting you have a problem is like the first step or whatever. And that's Virgo. That's Virgo energy, is that admitting that there is a problem, admitting that there's a difficulty here that you would rather there not be, but it is what it is. There it is. That's the reality of the situation. So now that we accept the reality of the situation, we're not going into Piscean delusions of pretending it doesn't exist and living in the clouds, but we're saying, yes, that exists. Yes, I'm going to grant mercy on myself and do whatever I need to do to heal, which is, I feel, the ultimate goal and intention of Virgoan energy is to heal. But we can't heal what we don't know needs healing. So there is that level of awareness that's brought to us, whether we like it or not, so that we can move in the direction of healing. And there's a chapter that's wanting to close with the Death card and the World card here. So if I was listening to this reading in terms of creative projects and I'm ready to let something go, I would say that, this is the time. This is the time to allow that transition to happen. So, with that being said, let me just sense if there's anything else to... Yeah, no, I really just feel like just remembering that thread of compassion is going to be so important right now. And if you feel like you can't offer that to yourselves, then again, the Three of Stones is saying reach out to someone who can, which, maybe friends, maybe family members, or maybe the Awakened Creators community. Maybe that's where you feel like you can get the compassion and mercy and love that you need in order to, move away from judgment and that harsher energy. So you're more than welcome to comment below and let us know how Virgo season is shaping up for you creatively, so that your brothers and sisters in spirit here can support you on your creative journey. And also, if you would like more regular updates from Awakened Creators, I do post 5 to 6 days a week or times a week on Instagram. So if you want a little bit more of a regular creative encouragement, I would highly recommend that you follow over at awaken.creators. Otherwise, I'm wishing you a most wonderful Virgo season. I hope that you use this energy in a productive and positive way, and that it allows you to start to move forward and move on with the things that are of utmost importance to you on your creative journey. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video if you learned something and enjoyed it. Share it with your friends and subscribe if you haven't already to become a part of the Awakened Creators family. I love you so much. Bye-bye.